It's time for another fun edition of Great Gimmick or Terrible Gimmick. The firearm we're looking at in today's gimmicky video is the Mare's Leg. Now, I happen to have the 22 caliber version of the Mare's Leg chambered in 22 long rifle that you can shoot 22 long rifle, and 22 shorts out of. And we'll come back to capacity here later on 22 shorts versus 22 long rifle. In 22 long rifle, you can get 10 rounds in the Mare's Leg, which is really why I went with the 22 caliber version. In the centerfire 38, 357, 44, 45 Colt, while they're about this same size, because they're cut down versions of carbine rifles, the capacity is really cut down on them, but not so much with the 22 version, where you can still get 10 rounds of 22 long rifle in it, which, let's be honest, if you're shooting a 22, you want to maximize the fun, and you have the most fun when you're shooting the firearm. Now, don't get your hopes up. We're not going to be doing the movie flip for cycling rounds into the action, unfortunately, which some of that is range rules. Most of it is when I do that flip for the reload, chambering the next round. The front sight has a tendency to dig into my forearm on the flip and cause a nasty cut, which is why I've put the sunshade back on my Mare's Leg. Now, another thing you won't see in this video, mostly for range rules, is we're not going to be doing the movie style firing from the hip. We might move down to a rifle bay where we can shoulder this firearm, though because we're at a handgun bay, we're going to have to shoot it like a handgun to keep the range happy with us. So anyway, let's get to it. I'll do 10 shots at our right-hand target, and I'm just going to hold it up, maybe sometimes like this, maybe sometimes like this, but not shouldering it because they don't like you shouldering, we'll say, a short-barreled rifle, which this is technically a pistol or a pistol with a stock at the handgun bay. So here we go, right-hand target. And it looks like all 10 of our shots are on the paper plate, with at least half of them in what we'll call the target zone. That's out at 10 yards, so not the farthest target, but certainly far enough to have fun with. Let's see how many shorts we can get in this Mare's Leg. Here we go. Okay, we're going to say 15. All right, here we go. That same right-hand target. Okay. Looks like we put quite a few more in the target zone. Hopefully all of them at least on the paper plate. Let's take our first break from the range to go over what the Mare's Leg is as far as firearms are concerned. The Mare's Leg is a lever action handgun originally made from a Winchester Model 1892 that has the barrel and stock shortened. It's a product of Hollywood and usually appears in westerns. Back in the 1950s, the Mare's Leg was created for Steve McQueen to use in an episode of Trackdown, and he later took it for him to use in the show Wanted, Dead or Alive. Over the years, the Mare's Leg has appeared in numerous iconic movie and TV westerns, including Once Upon a Time in the West, Firefly, Zombieland, Westworld, and Fallout. Modern consumers can purchase Mare's Leg in a variety of different calibers, including 45 Colt, 44 Magnum, 357 Magnum, 22 Magnum, and 22 long rifle. Now that we have some of the basics out of the way, let's head back to the range and see our 22 long rifle mare's leg play the part of a rifle. So far in video mare's leg, you've seen that it's very easy to put hits on a target at 10 yards. Well, let's see how well the mare's leg does, not as a quote handgun, but I'm at the rifle bay now to where I can actually fire this more like you might a rifle. So let's do some shots at a 50-yard target. I want to say it's about a 4-inch square. I was going to shoot at the big 12-inch strong out there, but unfortunately it's covered up completely by the plate rack from my angle at the target. So we're improvising. As a comparison, quote, measuring stick, we have a rifle or carbine size Henry lever action rifle now. We're going to do 10 shots at that 50-yard, 4-inch square hanging target. We'll see how many, if any, hits we can put on that little target. And then as a comparison, I'll do 10 shots from our mare's leg handgun at that same size target. And we'll see which one puts more hits on the target. Here we go. Okay, that's 1, 2, 3. Definitely 3. Okay, 3 of 10. Not that good. But that's mostly on the shooter, obviously not on the rifle. Here we go, mare's leg, 22. And in case you're wondering, out of the mare's leg, I'll be shooting the good ammo, aka Remington Thunderbolt. Here we go. One, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 of 10. Mare's leg making our Henry rifle look bad. I think what I'm going to do is load 10 more in the Henry rifle. Call that first attempt a warm-up. We'll give it a mulligan and see if we can at least do 6 of 10. All right, our rifle has been reloaded. We're giving it the mulligan. That same 50-yard, what I think is a 4-inch target. Here we go. Last time we did 3 of 10. Let's see if we can do better. Here we go. Cross your fingers. One of 10. Oh my God, we did terrible. And now these mare's legs, even though it has won the competition so far, they have one more trick up their sleeve. Now, technically, this also works in the rifle version of the carbine, but this is the mare's leg video, so we're again going to highlight it in the mare's leg video. That's right. You can shoot shorts. So the capacity went from 10 rounds to now 15 rounds. Let's see how many of these shorts we can put on that 50-yard target. Here we go. That might have been one. I think that's two. Maybe three. 4. 5. 6. 7. 8. 9. 'It's still going. 10. 11. 11 for 15. It could be 8 for 15, but it's at least 8 for 15. As you can tell, while the shorts, they can get out there and they can touch that target, they certainly don't ring as vibrantly as when the good ammo puts a hit on that little target. Good times. With it being in the low to mid 20s and my fingers are pretty icy at this point, let's go ahead and move into our conclusion. The Mare's Leg sure is fun to shoot, which for many, that'll be enough to add one to their collection. But like the vast majority of firearms, they come with some pros and cons. Compared to the revolvers typically seen in Westerns, the Mare's Leg has a longer barrel, giving it better velocity and energy compared to a shorter barrel revolver. In the rimfire versions, it has a nice capacity bump over those revolvers, and they sure do look cool. On the downside, while the rimfire versions have better capacity, in the centerfire version, you might have the same capacity at best compared to a revolver, but you often find yourself with one fewer round of capacity. Compared to that rifle that they're cut down from, you typically have less magazine capacity, along with less velocity and energy of the projectile due to the shorter barrel. Unless you're super cool and can safely employ the flip to chamber your next round, the Mare's Leg requires 2 hands to operate. For most people, compared to a cowboy action revolver, the Mare's Leg will be slower to draw and fire. On a Mare's Leg like we're shooting today that doesn't have a loading gate, they're often slower to reload as well. When it comes to the question asked in today's video, is the Mare's Leg a great gimmick or a terrible gimmick? I'd say it lands somewhere in between. They're a lot of fun to shoot, allowing the user to live out their fantasy of being a space cowboy, but I'd say they're squarely in that range fun toy bucket. Compared to the rifle, you lose projectile velocity and energy, along with capacity, but compared to a revolver, you give up speed, ease of use. And on both sides, it probably gives up a little in the versatility score. For many, fun will be enough, but for those who want fun plus functional for sporting or competition purposes, the Mare's Leg doesn't quite fit the bill. Those are our thoughts on the firearm, but what do you think of the Mare's Leg? Do you think it's only good as a fun range toy for movie shoot day, or do you find it has a use case beyond that? Let us know in the comments. Well, anyway, that seems like the perfect spot to end today's video. If you enjoyed today's video, like it, share it with your friends and family. Those things are free, and they really help the channel greatly. If you didn't enjoy today's video, go ahead and like it anyway. No one's going to know that you did it, and it helps us out a lot. If you'd like to help us make more of these videos in the future, look into becoming a member. Fred and I really appreciate you getting this far. Thanks for watching, and as always, have a nice night. Are you ready ready for your French fry? Oh, hey, those are my French fries. This one's yours. So you have to tasting it today, Frederick? Oh, he's chewing it. He's not actually just like swallowing it right down. It must be good. Must be good, huh?